Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. I'm being genuinely serious when I say I think this one is going to blow your freaking mind. Star Wars under Disney cannot stay away from Palpatine, or should I say the Palpatine lineage. A few times now you guys have heard me praise the new reference book, The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire by Dr. Chris Kempshall. It is genuinely one of the best Star Wars books released in the last 5 years, one of my favourites. It's written post-Episode 9, and gives a retrospective history on the rise and fall of the Empire, then the Remnant, and finally the First Order, and it's written by Beaumont Kin. Well, did you know a brief throwaway sentence has just canonized one of the most deep-cut, obscure characters from the expanded universe, a certain Lady Pelopides. If that last name sounds familiar, she used it to make the false claim that she was the daughter of Emperor Palpatine himself. She was a socialite elite on Coruscant, often being mentioned in the Coruscanti Society, the magazine for the elite. And in the wake of the Emperor's death, she used the claim that she was a Palpatine herself to gain more popularity with Imperial sympathizers. It's important to note, she aligned herself with Palpatine's ideology, but it was mostly attention-seeking. So why is this so important? Well, two big reasons. First of all, there must be a reason Lucasfilm dove into the expanded universe and brought her back. Surely they didn't just ask the author to put her in just for the sake of it. And second of all, my dear friends, she's alive during the New Republic, during the Mandoverse. Could she be a remnant in The Mandalorian and Grogu? But it's important to note, the book clarifies, even though she claimed to be Palpatine's daughter, she wasn't. There are social, economic reasons why she would make this claim, that we'll get onto in just a moment. It benefited her social status, and she was one of 7, making the claim that she is Palpatine's child. And what's more insane is that she was saying all of this stuff on Coruscant, which is not the capital of the New Republic during this time, that is Chandrila, but it was still the big business hub, and where the government had its headquarters. It was basically the unofficial capital, let's say. But Lady Pelopides was out there saying all of this with no repercussions, no consequences, no one cared. She wasn't arrested, she wasn't thrown into a rehabilitation program. The opposite, she gained popularity, because it turns out there are a lot of Imperial sympathizers there, especially the upper class, the bourgeoisie. Now I should just say guys, her story in the expanded universe is very different. She first appeared in the Dark Empire sourcebook, that was in the early 90s, and she wasn't claiming to be Palpatine's daughter, but his great niece. In canon, her claim is that she is his daughter, but it's got nothing to do with the cloning project, nothing to do with the sequel trilogy, Brendol Hux, Rey's Thone, Exegol, Snoke, Rey's dad, nothing to do with them. We're talking about a biological organic daughter, but more importantly, claiming to have the same ideology. And the only real piece of source material that dives into Palpatine's bloodline is Darth Plagueis. But as we know, my dear friends, to my great dismay because I love that book, it is not canon. But in terms of a daughter, a biological non-clone, the new book seems to discredit these claims. But it's not the first time we've seen Imperial sympathizers post-Episode 6. Not just with Thrawn's return, not just with Moff Gideon, the Shadow Council, but also the New Republic's amnesty program. Remnant spies, such as Elia Kane, infiltrating the New Republic from within. And even the Ahsoka show confirmed multiple Imperial loyalists scattered across the core worlds, for example Corellia. But returning to Coruscant, Lady Pelopides is an important figure during this time. Why else would they bring her back? I wonder if they're going to bring her into live action. The reveal of this character in canon could have massive ramifications for the New Republic. Her actions could be a twist we didn't see coming. I know the New Republic didn't stay on Coruscant, but it's important to note, with their redistribution policies that really didn't serve the elite of the planet, it's no wonder the world, which is considered a business hub, was peeved off by the new government. Under Palpatine they thrived, so naturally they want to see a return to core world dominance. During the reign of the Empire, the regime heavily favoured the wealthy and corporate interests, especially those who could support or collaborate with the Empire's authoritarian rule. Several policies, both formal and informal, disproportionately benefited the rich. There was the Corporate Sector Authority, for example, a government body created by the Empire that gave vast territories of space to major corporations. Then there was the privatization of Imperial contracts, not to mention exploitation of resources in the Outer Rim, and more than anything, the suppression of labour movements, in favour of corruption, favouritism, monopoly on trade routes, and allowing corporate greed to get out of hand. No wonder the Coruscant elite rejected Mon Mothma's government. so they were looking to collaborate with Imperial remnants, who they saw as hope, to bring back laws that worked in their interests. The fall of the Empire meant the loss of influence, wealth, and control, making them very unenthusiastic about the New Republic. In fact, many of Coruscant's upper echelons see the New Republic as a threat to their privileged status. They would gladly conspire with the Imperial Remnant to restore the Order of Old. They want to return to the benefits they used to reap, or the closest thing to it. It's the only way to reclaim their former glory. In the upcoming Mandoverse projects, Grand Admiral Thrawn, one of the Empire's former most strategic and cunning leaders, could seize this opportunity, but we know he has his own agenda as well. But by tapping into Coruscant's network of Imperial sympathizers, he could come dangerously close to destabilizing the New Republic's government. The upcoming war between the two sides is going to be fascinating. His influence could create a dangerous alliance between various remnants and disillusioned socialites, pushing the galaxy back towards an authoritarian regime. And there is proof of this further down the line. During the reign of the First Order, the elites that we see on Canto Bight thrive by selling weaponry to the regime. Similarly, the war between the New Republic and the Remnant forces is only going to benefit the wealthy of the galaxy. The key to their prosperity was arms dealing. Many of the elites had amassed their wealth by selling weapons to both sides. Same thing with the First Order and the Resistance further down the timeline. The wealthy arms dealers exploited the endless demand for weapons, profiting immensely from the suffering caused by galactic conflict. As DJ the Codebreaker reveals to Finn and Rose in The Last Jedi, many of the starships and weapons used by the First Order and the Resistance were supplied by the same individuals. This of course was during his rant about the good guys versus the bad guys, the illusion of the moral dichotomy, not just on Canto Bight, but also on Coruscant, focusing only on maximizing their profits, regardless of which side suffered. In the case of the Remnants and the New Republic, the Coruscant elites are going to favor the Empire. The context is slightly different though, because at the end of the day, the redistribution of power and resources from the New Republic is why the socialites suffer. They preferred the policies and tax laws that favored the privileged under Palpatine. So someone like Lady Pelopides coming out and saying, "I'm related to Palpatine, I'm his daughter," is more of a social status thing in her own circles, always dictated by self-interest, favoring whichever regime ensured their wealth and influence remained intact. So this is a major reveal. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you want them to introduce more Palpatines, even if they're fake ones? And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, and may the Force be with you, always.